Hello YouTube, this is Amazon here, bringing another Black Ops 2 Die Rise analysis video. In this one I'm going to be looking at the background to Die Rise, literally actually the background, because as you can see in the background, it isn't at all like Tranzit. The fog that a lot of people hated is not present in Die Rise in any relevant amount. But this also, aside from satisfying the community, also provides some insight into when Die Rise is set in relation to the rest of the story. Now, Transit was foggy mainly because to reflect the Earth being blown up. Now, to explain this, we're going to have to go a bit into science and the theory of what happened after nuclear war, because there are a lot of theories and experiments into what would be the result of a large-scale nuclear war. So, one of the most serious for long-term survival is the prospect of a nuclear winter. This is when all the nuclear explosions would throw up huge amount of particles into the Earth's atmosphere, creating a sort of a layer of sort of fog and particles, much like Transit, which would block out the sun's sunlight and leave the Earth in a permanent winter, because no sunlight gets through, no heat, or very little anyway. So this is what's happening in Transit. Transit happened pretty soon after Maxis sent 3 rockets at Earth, and all the particles from those explosions had come up into the atmosphere and is creating the fog in Transit. I mean, if you look at the sun in Transit, you can barely see it even though it's daytime. This is because at the moment Transit's in the middle of a nuclear winter caused by Max's actions. However, in Die Rise we can see that the fog is gone. The sky is perfectly clear. We can see some parts of the Earth that are now orbiting it. We can see the moon very clearly. There is some fog left, but I think this is more to reflect the smog that's very common in Chinese cities. But there is no level of fog. Now, this is very interesting because a nuclear winter would take years, maybe even decades to clear. That's one of the problems, because all plant life would have died before, for lack of sunlight, before the sort of nuclear particles had finished falling and the sky was clear again. So that's the thing, because Die Rise has no nuclear clouds and all that kind of stuff, and Transit did have the nuclear winter. How far apart chronologically are these two maps set? I mean, we've already seen from the cutscene that Richtofen respawned the team when they had failed one time, but it doesn't really specify how many times they failed. I mean, when you think about it, they could have been going at this for months or so, because this could, this Die Rise could have taken place years after Transit has, because there's no definitive timeline. Richtofen could have spawned them again and again to try and do whatever he needs them to do in Die Rise. So that's the thing that I wanted to address in this video, that because of the background of the map, we can actually see that this map and Transit take place a long time apart. Now, this could be because people were just holding out for a long time in Transit before they were teleported to Die Rise, or it just could be that Richtofen is trying to get that right, and they've just been failing so many times that the nuclear fallout is cleared. Of course, it could also be that maybe Richtofen beamed them up from Transit and then waited until the fog had cleared to beam them back down to Die Rise, possibly. I mean, we heard in the radio transmissions that I've still got to get to you, that the particles of it were causing paranoia and mental effects because of the 115 in it. So maybe Richtofen wanted to teleport the new crew back down into Die Rise after the particles had mostly cleared from the air, to prevent this kind of paranoia and stuff, tearing apart the team. So those are sort of my theories on how the background of Die Rise is occurred and how it's separated from Transit. Hope you've enjoyed listening. This has been amazing. Thank you for watching, and goodbye.